Okay, so we're gonna make one of the best vegan chocolate cakes you've ever had.
We're down with the Happy Pear, and they've just thrown together a simple 5-minute curry that blew our minds.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's really cheap to make.
Yeah, probably cost you about €5. Feed about 2 to 3 people.
But they had some more tasty tricks up their sleeves.
Okay, so we're gonna make one of the best vegan chocolate cakes.
We made this at Christmas dinner and
There was 18 people, 18 of our family there, and it got 10 out of 10 from 18
across the board.
people.
So this is a really nice simple cake. So it's a 2-part cake. We're gonna make a simple kind of fudgy base, and then we're making a really beautiful aquafaba based chocolate mousse.
Let's do it.
Aquafab, for people who don't know.
Chickpea water.
Bean juice.
Ew.
Yeah, fancy name.
Don't
It sounds so much
nasty.
more fancy when it says aquafaba.
Bean juice and cake?
Okay, see what it's rebranded.
Okay, so first step, generally with the cake, it will start with some form of starch. You're the sifter. The
So we got 135 grams of all-purpose white flour.
All purpose, so
the reason, why do we sieve it? Derek, why do we sieve the flour?
To make sure it's not have those chunks in it.
And make it lighter.
And then lighter, of course.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Next step, we have 150 grams of coconut sugar or sugar of choice.
Or
We're
sugar.
using coconut sugar because it's slightly more lower GI, lower glycemic index.
slightly thicker than flour.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
That's grand. Yeah, absolutely perfect. 40 grams of cacao powder. This is going to give that chocolate appearance and note. So as with most cakes, our rising agent. So we have baking powder. Do you know the difference between baking powder and baking soda?
No.
For a point. Can anyone tell me the difference?
No, I
You're not
cannot.
even going to try. Come on.
On this
What makes the cake rise?
Very good. Okay, so they're both rising agents. Baking powder simply requires moisture and heat, versus baking soda or bicarbonate soda requires acid. We don't want acid in our cake, so we're going to use baking powder. Many people think you can't make a moist cake or a cake that's like lovely and fatty and gooey without butter. However, butter is typically about 15% water. Water will activate the gluten strands in starch or flour, which will make your cake drier and more tendency to be doughier and chewier. Versus oil, 100% fat content, will mean your cake will maintain its moisture for longer and be better.
What type of oil?
We're just using a general. Try to get a
Neutral tasting oil, not like an olive oil, because then your cake will taste of olive oil. So we're using a pretty low-grade sunflower oil. It's very neutral in tasting.
Okay.
That's the main component.
Yeah.
So we got 150 ml of equal part oil and non-dairy milk. We've got oat milk, 150 oat milk,
Oat milk.
150 ml of
Do you
sunflower
use
oil.
any type of milk?
Yeah, non-dairy milk.
Non-dairy milk.
Yeah. We've 1 flax egg, so that this functions as typically a normal egg in baking will function as an emulsifier. Emulsifier will mix a fat-based solution and a water-based solution and bind them.
Can I say something?
Yes, sorry, excuse me. Go for it. So what's a
Do you mind-
flax egg?
do you mind if I
So
say
many
something?
questions.
So flax egg is just 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed with 3 tablespoons of water. You whisk it together and then leave it sit for
So
a
1
couple
to
of
3
minutes.
is the ratio for
Yeah,
one
and it
flax egg.
coagulates and functions exactly like an egg.
And then last thing we have a little bit of.
Vanilla
Vanilla
extract.
extract.
Just a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Oh, I like vanilla.
Sorry.
So typically we'll mix all our wet ingredients, mix all our dry ingredients, and then for the secret trick, we combine them.
Oh my God.
This is exciting, isn't it?
The great thing about a vegan batter is you can taste it. So have a
you won't
taste
get
of that
like
for
salmonella from it or
Yeah,
anything.
just get straight in.
I'm going
Oh my
with the
god,
pinky
that's great
face.
raw. I just eat that
Yeah,
raw.
that's lovely. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees. We're going to bake this cake for 20 minutes. So what we want is we don't want an excessively dry batter or cake. We want one that's a bit moist, a bit fudgy, that's a bit decadent.
It's already looking that
Sorry
way.
if I
Yeah,
screwed
no,
up the
you
decadence
did a
there.
fabulous job.
So just kind of level it off slightly and then whack it straight in the oven.
Crack her in.
Oh, it's lovely, it really is.
Boom.
Okay, so we're gonna make a aquafaba chocolate mousse. Aquafaba typically is gonna function as an egg white, so it's gonna bring aeration. It's gonna make it more moussey, more light, and more just.
This makes a really good body paint if you ever wanted to eat chocolate off something.
I don't like
for that.
like
I actually
food
did
and bodies, like just on your body. I think it's really nasty.
Okay. Okay. Well,
Just to let you guys know, like that whole
I don't think we were ever going to go there.
sex and food. Like, I know. I'm just saying, just letting you guys know offhand, like it's not going that way. Food and sex.
this is 54% cocoa solids. Obviously, the lower percentage of cocoa solids, the more sweet it's going to be. So in that goes. This is a bain-marie, which means an indirect heat source, so the chocolate won't burn.
Bain-marie.
Okay, over here we've got a simple, it's just an electric whisk. This is actually a bread mixer, but any kind of electric whisk will work. In here we've got 60 ml of aquafaba. In here we have 160 ml of aquafaba.
What's aquafaba, Dave?
Great question, Steve. It's actually chickpea juice straight into the bottom of the can.
Ew.
So that's garbanzos.
And if you don't have chickpeas, you could use butter beans, you could use anything like that, even black beans.
What we're going to do is we've got, as Steve said, we've 160 ml of aquafaba.
I'm going to squeeze in a little bit, about a teaspoon of lemon juice. That's going to function as the stabilizer, which is going to give us big, lofty peaks.
And if you don't have lemon juice or lime juice, put in a teaspoon of vinegar. Will work perfect. You'll see this will come up like a meringue. I can just start this off at a slow speed.
Oh, that's amazing.
There you go, bam. Okay, now to make our a little bit more.
Go a little stiffer.
So we've 20 grams of just simple white caster sugar. I'm putting this in to create almost like an Italian-like meringue. It's just going to make it lovely and sweet. So just slowly add that in.
Okay, so it's been like 10 minutes altogether whisking the aquafaba with the sugar. No, 10 minutes altogether including the whisking with the aqua sugar.
A simple way of knowing that it's ready is that it has stiff peaks. Yeah. Like if we go in like that, that it holds it. Do you want to try it?
Yeah.
So it will taste like meringue, you know, that type of...
Wow.
Ain't no taste of chickpea there.
None.
None.
I've never had it.
And obviously, if you want that to be a lot of a sweeter meringue, just increase the sugar. So what we're going to do now is we're going to just turn this into chocolate mousse. So it's going to, you see the aeration, the air that's now trapped in that chickpea water. What we're going to do is we're going to kind of break down a little bit by adding, this is fat, so that's water, so we're adding in fat now here. So this is chocolate. Okay, so we want to make this a little bit richer because fat has twice the calories when compared to protein and carbohydrate. And the number one determinant of how much pleasure we get from food is calorific density. The more fat in your food, the more pleasure. So I'm going to add in about 70 ml of just simple sunflower oil. It's going to enrich it, make it more just, luscious. So in that goes slowly.
Does it make you make that noise?
It just adds more calories.
In essence.
But see the way it's giving it a nice shine now and a luster to it.
It's
You
really
see the way,
nice.
like, you can see the air trapped in it. So what we're going to do is just pour this in on top.
Ooh.
Good Lord.
And we're going to have a really nice thick mousse layer once this sets. So we're going to pop this into the freezer, leave it set for about 10-15 minutes. It might need a little bit longer. The reason why we're going to freezer is just because we're in a rush. But you can go to the fridge. And if you don't have either, just leave it in the counter and it's set. This might require a little longer. The cake has been, the coca millet, also known as the cake in Gaeilge, or natural language, has been in the freezer for 20 minutes. Ideally, it would have been left for longer, just because this is going to be absolutely perfect.
Wow! Looks beautiful.
Okay,
Jesus. The skill level.
now who'd like to undress her? Derek, will you undress her?
Absolutely.
Now, gentle, darling. Oh, Derek. Oh, Derek, slower, Derek! Sorry.
Slowly. Oh dear.
She's delicate.
Oh, there it is.
But you'll see how moussey it is.
beautiful.
You can see the aeration in it, the fact that this is naturally trapped in some lovely
that's part
bubbles.
of her
Derek is...
dressing.
Wow.
Okay, so in this particular cafe in Lisboa, they'll always put cacao just to serve. Because what it forms is, it forms that contrast. So cacao powder is naturally quite bitter. So what it does is it contrasts with the moussiness. It adds this extra kind of layer, little crust on the top.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good incision.
Okay. And also, if you want to be extra accurate, you can heat the knife slightly.
Ah, that works.
Boom, that did actually work.
So the guarantee was, the promise was the best vegan cake you've ever had.
Yep,
let's see.
that was the promise.
That's quite
Let's
a promise.
see.
We're an
That's quite
honest
a promise.
bunch.
It really is quite a promise.
Right, okay. Oh, God.
So, like, what you have is quite a rich base, so it's not really light
Let the
baked.
cake
Okay,
stand itself.
but I just wanted to describe the layers.
All right.
I like how he didn't even own, like.
Wow. That's really fucking good. Wow. Because it's really light.
Like that's the whole chickpea juice.
Like
Lovely.
half these little parts.
Very nice.
It's something, you know, something else doesn't go quiet because you're actually having to really.
Oh yeah.
I love
Right.
that.
This is fantastic.
I never
Well
got
done, lads. Well done, lads.
Wow.
Boom. Bring it in. Boom. Slow clap.
Highway to hell!
I think that was a pretty big ending.
That really was one of the most delicious cakes we've ever had. You can believe the hype. As always, for more great videos, please subscribe and share to anyone you think will appreciate. See you next time on the Highway to Help.